Hello and welcome to the first in a series of videos that I'll be doing to help you use 3D Studio Max a little bit easier. A little about myself. My name's Mike. I've been making real-time assets in 3D Studio Max for about a year or so, and in that time I've seen a lot of users doing things a very difficult way, getting very frustrated with the program, and hopefully this series of videos will help you to use Max a little bit more efficiently and with a little less grief. It is aimed at intermediate level. I do expect a certain amount of understanding of the basics, but that said, some of the stuff may be very simple and you may have seen it before, so just bear with it. Hopefully there'll be some stuff that you've not seen before. It is not a series of how-tos and it is not comprehensive. So with that little disclaimer out the way, I'll jump into my first topic, which is sort of general using 3ds Max. The first thing I want to show you is the help functionality in Max. It is really good. You get to it by help, Autodesk 3ds Max help. Not enough people use this. Go to search, say I want to know more about the array tool, type in array, hit enter, double click on the article, and this particular article has a picture showing the sort of thing that it can be used to do, a description of what the tool is, how to use it, a couple of examples, and various movies as well, which I think you need an internet connection to watch, but point is, it's really useful. Check it out. If you see a dialogue that you don't know how to use, there's a real good chance that the help will help you, surprisingly enough. It's what it's there for. So use it if you haven't already. The next big tip would be using shortcuts, and throughout these videos I'm going to be using a lot of shortcuts and hopefully showing you many of these. So some simple ones right away. I'm going to make a quick editable poly, so I'm going to make a box, convert it to an editable poly, and right here we have the various selection sub-object levels. The tools to get to those are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 respectively. You can see me flicking through those, very easy to do, use them. Also in the top left of your keyboard is Q, W, E and R. Those go through your tools up here. Select object, move, rotate and scale. So there it is, select. I'll just get up a widget. Oops. There's the select, move, scale, rotate and scale, Q, W, A, R. All those are top left of your keyboard. That's where you should generally be hovering your hand when using Max, so using those will speed things up a lot. If you find yourself wanting to add new keyboard shortcuts, you can do that, and I do recommend you do so if you use a tool a lot and want to make a shortcut for it. Go to the Customize section, Customize User Interface, and under the Keyboard tab you can create new shortcuts. And right now the default is Main UI, but if you want to make a shortcut in the, for example, Unwrap UVW window, change that to there, and the available commands changes and your shortcuts will change. Okay, using the viewports. A lot of time people do this weird thing where they put this up here so they can see what they're doing really easily. There's really no need to do that. If you've got your viewport selected, use Alt and W and it maximizes that viewport. Alt and W again will bring you back to the 4 viewport views. You can, if it will always maximize the selected viewport, so one way to go between them is Alt and W on the one you want, come out of it, use middle click to go to a different one and go into that. Alternatively, you can use T for top, F for front and L for left to go to the different sides of your object. If you want to jump back into perspective, just hit P and you'll be right back in there. One of the problems people have with perspective, and I guess why they use orthographic, which I have to say I really don't like modelling in, and I much prefer perspective, is they have problems with the camera, or with, I'm going to call it the camera, it's not strictly a camera but just go with it. And I'm going to create a problem scenario and show you why it's frustrating for those people. Right now my focus is not the object, and I try to zoom in and I get stuck. And I look around and it's not rotating around my object at all. It's doing something very funny. That's because my pivot for my camera is somewhere out here. We really want it to be the object, and a quick way to do that is to press the Z key, which will focus on the selected sub-object. So in this case I've got my vert selected and I jumped straight to it there, and now I'm rotating around it. If I want the whole object, just select it at the object level, tap Z, and now I'm rotating around the whole box. Dead easy, dead simple. If we go into 4 viewports, we can also see that it will kind of fix, if I've zoomed out or panned away from all of my stuff and I tap Z, it'll fix all the viewports at once. So really useful, do use Z. Let's say we wanted to look at other objects. We've got several in our scene, and some of them are getting in our way, and I'd really want to see these 2 cubes without the sphere in the way. We can right click and hide selection, or alternatively, with that still showing, the object that we want, say we want to modify this box here, right click and hide unselected. A little shortcut for that is Alt and Q, which is called isolation mode, and sometimes brings up a little dialog box. I don't know where mine has gone, but if I want to come out of that, all I have to do is right click and unhide all. To hide things at a sub-object level, you will find, for example, if I try and hide this polygon using right click and hide selection, it will do nothing. That is because that is the object level. These are object level controls. We want the sub-object level controls, and if you didn't know, you can expand this. I'm going to expand this now just by dragging it out. Gives me a bit more room to play with. To hide them at the sub-object level, we just go down to the Edit Geometry rollout, which is this one here, and click on Hide Selected here, and that will hide it. And you must use Unhide All from here. If you right-click and Unhide All from here, it will do nothing. Well, it'll unhide any other objects, but not any sub-objects. So I must unhide all at the sub-object level. Another little shortcut for making things a little bit easier to see. Let's say I kind of want to know where that sphere is, but it is getting in my way. We can make it see-through. Now we can do that by right-click Object Properties and tick See-Through, and I'll make it a grey. Alternatively, we can use the shortcut Alt and X, which will toggle between see-through and not see-through. Same difference, but a lot easier to do. So Alt and X, really useful. You're probably aware of Control and Z, which in this case will undo my object property change. But you might not be aware of Shift and Z. So Shift and Z will undo a viewport change. So if I pan away, and actually I really want it to be where I was before, Shift and Z. This is really useful if you find yourself accidentally rotating your wireframes, your orthographic shots, and you don't want this. This is useless. Rather than clicking front, which will work, but it's sometimes easier to just Shift and Z, and that'll take you right back. Fly-through camera. This is the last thing I'm going to show you in this little series, this particular video, is the fly-through camera. Now, ordinarily our camera kind of rotates around a fixed point. We can use, I call it fly-through, they call it walk-through, same difference really. It's these little footprints. If you have a little hand, then that might be in your way. Just hold it down and click on the footprints. This changes your cursor to this sort of circle with a little dot in the middle, like a dartboard or something. Hold down left click and you'll be able to rotate the camera thusly. You can still pan using middle click and drag, but you can also, using the up, down, left, right cursors on your keyboard, zoom in and sort of pan left and right, which is kind of like moving and strafing in a third-person shooter you might be familiar with. So just holding down left click whilst moving my mouse around and using the cursors gives me that kind of control to move a lot like a shooter, and it can be a little unwieldy, but you might find it useful, particularly if you're working in an environment that you want to kind of get a feel for. This is a nice way to do that. Okay, so that's all I'm going to show you in this little video. My next video will be kind of recovering from noobish errors, I guess. I call it the What Have I Done video, so join me there if you're interested. Otherwise, thanks for watching.